It's like the best video ever.
This is crazy.
We got 25 minutes. We gotta go.
Hey!
What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Let me get myself set up. Switching around. Janelle just took that right side of the room.
Well, I am excited to be with everyone. Happy with today's episode 13.
Oh man. So all right. Incredibly excited to be on with you guys. I am incredibly excited about this question today. So Janelle, drum roll.
Happy Wednesday, baby.
Yeah. Let's get that question out there. And I think it's your turn to actually ask it. So drum roll. I'll
Do it. Today's question is, do you have imposter syndrome in your business?
All right, let's throw that clock up, Jay.
All right, here we go.
And guys, before we jump into today, we actually obviously want to give you guys some reference to what exactly imposter syndrome is. So here's the formal definition. So imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. This disproportionately affects high achieving people who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. Furthermore, many question whether they're deserving of the accolades that they receive. Right now, one of the things we also want to share with you guys, because for many of you, maybe this is something you've never heard. Janelle and I have actually, this is something that we had shared with our team. I think at one point when we were doing that training, maybe a year and a half back, Jay, when we were doing those trainings, and we really wanted to we recognized that this was something that was going on within ourselves, within our organization. And so we're just going to share with you guys a quick snippet of a TED Talk by Valerie Young. That's, I think, going to bring some more clarity on it. We'll definitely put up the information afterwards, but check out this video by Valerie, and it'll probably give you guys a better sense of, let me bring this up for you guys, what exactly we are talking about. So hold on.
Have you ever had that?
No,
wait. Over my head, and they're going to find out feeling. Maybe it's when you got a promotion.
Hold on. Hold on. Excuse. There we go. All right, cool. Please let me know if you guys can hear this. Give me that thumbs up.
Have you ever had that? I'm in over my head, and they're going to find out feeling. Maybe it was when you got a promotion, or you started a business, or you landed in a new role. Like the highly qualified administrator who couldn't believe they gave her the job. Once she got there, she found out the hiring committee had come directly from a wine function. And she said, aha, they were drunk. Or maybe you've said, if I can do it, how hard can it be? I actually heard a guy say, if I can get a PhD in astrophysics from Caltech, anybody can. This tendency to discount or diminish obvious evidence of our abilities is called the imposter syndrome. The first time I heard the term, I was a 21-year-old doctoral student at the same university where my mom was working as a night janitor. I instantly identified, and so did the other students. As a matter of fact, we decided to start a little imposter support group. We started meeting and talking about being intellectual frauds and how we're fooling all of our professors. And everything went great for about 3 weeks. And that's about the time I started to have this nagging sense that even though everyone else was saying they were an imposter, it's like I knew I was the only real imposter. Decades later, and psychologists are still telling us that the way to overcome imposter syndrome is to just keep talking about it. The more we can talk about our supposed ineptness, the better we'll feel. I don't know, has anybody ever talked about how fat you feel? It's like, do you feel any thinner? Talking about imposter feelings is a start, but you can't share your way out of imposter syndrome. So what does work? Are no more intelligent or capable than you
So
or
guys, I hope that
But the
gave you
only
value. Again, we're
difference
going to
between them-
post it in the description below when the show's over. That way you guys can follow the rest of that video. She shares some incredibly insightful thoughts and ideas around that subject. And again, we just wanted you guys to have a reference. But Janelle, for you, I'll definitely turn it over to you so you can answer first. Do you think, back to to the original question, do you think you have imposter syndrome in your business?
Yeah, for sure. I think it comes in waves where there are like times where I feel extreme anxiety about it and then like it goes down. And I think a lot of it has to do with activity. The more activity I am doing in my business, the more like meetings I'm having, the more I'm like showing people my product and service, like the more I'm like go, the less I feel it because you're just kind of like in motion. But then those moments when you like think about it, like think about what you're doing, or you have a thought or an idea and it's like, should I do that? Should I say that idea? Maybe it's not my position to say something. Is that too outlandish, too crazy? I think those are the times when I think I feel the imposter syndrome the most. I'll also say this without, I'm like, I don't want to say too much, but I think the other thing is too, like this, like people think like, oh, you start a business and you're just going to be like immediately successful in the business. And so there's this weird pressure for you to be like successful. And that's just not how it works. And like, I know that logically, but I think emotionally, I also have that pressure like, oh, this isn't where I thought it would be right now. Or others are expecting me to be so much further and I'm not. And so like, you know, like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't like, you know, like I'm running my own business. Like, what am I doing? Those kinds of thoughts kind of run through my head too. So I have definitely felt this. I can say for sure. She's right. Talking about it is only the first time. It's definitely not the answer to just to moving forward. What do you
love that. No. And you're right, because she does go into some really insightful things and ideas in that video. So again, we highly recommend you guys go check that out. For me, I'm definitely going to say yes. And I don't think it shows up the same way it does what you just described, because having, I guess, run a business at some point in my earlier career before network marketing and relationship marketing, I had gotten some experience. So the business part, me being a business person, that part, not so much. I got to say, for where it really shows up for me in this new arena is this whole idea of what it means to be a leader. I have managed people before, but that's not really what we're supposed to do here. And I think when she talked about even her mom, the biggest thing that I actually thought to myself was, this is a factor of modeling. So because I don't always feel as if I represent a good model of how to build this business successfully, to your point about not having yet the success you want, it makes it hard for me when I'm talking to someone to speak from that place of authority, because I haven't made it yet. Therefore, I really can't lead you to a place I've not yet gotten. And then even if I've gotten to, and I'll share, in our last company, one of a big achievement, and it didn't seem big to me, and maybe you can speak on this yourself, Janelle, was this idea of getting a certain amount of customers, which would allowed us to not have to pay the money needed to keep you active or sustain in the business. I don't want to, again, we're not going to get too technical, but I can tell you that when they used to share the statistics on what it meant to get these 4 customers, getting these 4 customers put you in like 60-something% of anyone in the company, right? And above average, yes, or around average. But for me, I could never be happy with that. It was the weirdest thing where they'd be like, or maybe it was like 70-something%. I know it was a number that was significant, where in other areas of my life, I'd be like, yo, I got 75. Woo, let's do it, baby. But they would say this number, and I'd see and what's wild is I'm sitting there sad about the fact that I have these 4 customers, and I have other people on the team where they were wishing they could get to that place. And I remember at one point, one of our mentors saying, you know, if you can teach him to get to this, you can teach him to get to this. And if you guys just keep duplicating, and I'm sitting here telling you guys right now that it was never enough for me. And even being called the leader, when one of the people who enrolled me stepped away, and a lot of this kind of fell on, you know, both you and I, Janelle, to step into that role. I actually looked more to you, even though I guess in our binary I'm higher and all this other stuff. But I remember thinking to myself, I can't do this, but let me push Janelle to be this leader, because I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. This other woman was before me, and let me push another woman, or let me help another woman or someone else, honestly. But it was you, you know, for our team. It's like, let me help her become that icon, or that figurehead that others can look to. And I just never felt, and even to this day, I'll be very honest with you guys, it's still something that I still think about and struggle with. And again, it's funny. It's not around the idea of being a business owner. That stuff, I get that. I can intellectually explain that to you guys. But when it talks about what it means to be these people who we look on stage and we listen to their audios, I still struggle to this day to see myself as that guy, or a person that's capable of that. Although I have other thoughts that say, no, you are more than capable of it. And it shows up in other areas of my life. So I'm definitely going to say, agree with you. Yes. I do have imposter syndrome in my business. And yeah.
So I think the next part, like, I'm getting all hot. I'm like, man, I should take off my headband. I was just thinking, like, and then what, right? Because to her point, like, the first step is, yes, like, admitting that, like, you have it, but, like, that's like saying, and I'm fat. Like, that's great. That's going to make you feel thin. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, so then what do you do? Like, what's the next step? Like, what do you do after that? And I think, I just, like, I love when she said, Valerie Young did a great job of, like, telling the story of, like, the degrees of which you can have imposter syndrome, right? So, like, someone who's like, oh, I feel like a fraud, they're going to figure me out, versus someone who's like, whatever, like, if I can, you know, go to Caltech and major in neuroscience, then, you know, like, anybody could do it, because, you know, I'm no, like, smart person. So, like, yeah, like, and like, anybody else hearing that's like, what? Like, no, sir. Like, it takes a certain level of intelligence in order to do that. And for me, that's actually something I can relate to. And I didn't even realize that that's a part of imposter syndrome. I have done that so many times, like, oh, well, you know, I'm doing this. But, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And, like, I think about it and it's like, no, actually not everybody can say that. And I don't know. Is it I don't know if it's the world we live in, if it's the family in which I was brought into, or what it is, but there's something about, for me personally, I know this is not for everybody, but for me personally, this idea of, like, talking about myself, like I've accomplished something, makes me seem egotistical, or makes me seem like, I don't know, like, oh, she thinks that she's, you know, all that, like, because she's talking about herself and, like, her accomplishments. So it's almost like my culture has taught me to, like, oh, no, like, you've done that, but don't talk about it, like, don't brag about it. Because if you do talk about it, it sounds like you're bragging, almost like. And so I think I hear what she says, and I'm like, I've so done that. But for me, it's like one of those things where, like, I feel like I was taught, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a woman. Does that play a role in it? Like, women, like, know your role, know your place. You don't need to speak up and, like, brag about yourself. Like, nobody wants to hear someone talk about their accolades.
Well, can I ask you though? Is it and trust me, West Indian household right here as well. So I hear you on that. But can I ask, is that more, yes, bragging, or this idea of you believe what others are saying? So it's others bragging on you and you not. Again, it's being, and within our business, within the business, being called to speak before the team, you know, being told, hey, you're the leader now, so others are looking to you, and you now within yourself going, I'm not the leader. I'm why would others follow me? You know, you are Janelle, you are an eloquent speaker. I don't speak well. To me, it's not so much about what is being said within what you're saying about how successful you are. It's more about how others are saying you're successful, others saying you are amazing, and whether it's attractive or you look good or speak whatever that, you know, that is in your space. And you within yourself, to your point, I went to this school, but others could have gotten into that school. They must have been, you know what I mean? Maybe somebody was asleep at the wheel when they accepted me into this college. And then, but to your point now, then saying in another breath, no, if anyone can do it. It's more about that voice. Do you think it's that for you though, as opposed to you giving yourself some praise or affirming yourself?
True. It is definitely more like, don't boast, don't brag.
Mm-hmm.
But I like there, to your point, there's some things I recognize, like not everybody's done that, right? Like, so to your point, so for those who don't know, I went to an Ivy League school. And so like, I do recognize that not everybody went to Ivy League school.
She's not cocky, folks. She's not cocky.
But like, this is, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's like the stereotype, like, oh, people went to Ivy League schools, they're like all like, you know, they think that they're smarter than everyone else. They think that they're better than everyone else. And so I'm like, well, I'm not trying to like get that kind of like on my back, you know, like I don't want people to think like, because I don't think that necessarily of myself. Like I'm better than everyone or that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I think it's still more of the like, don't brag, you don't want people to like think that you think that your head is really big or what have you. And to that point, so it's really interesting, right? Because then when someone puts me in a leadership position and I'm like, wait, hold on, like, why am I here? Even though I went to an Ivy League school, let's use that as a barometer of like an accolade or success, even though I have that. And then someone's like, yeah, so you're the leader, you do this. And I'm like, am I? So I'll still question it. So the imposter syndrome, to your point, comes up more still in this feeling of like, I'm not sure I'm ready for this particular role, right? And then in combination, I think it's just in combination, and I think they flux. I don't even, in my mind, I'm like, I think they just kind of like are kind of meshing together and happening at the same time. I don't think it's like one, like it's binary, like this is happening and then that happens. I think it's kind of like ebbing and flowing together. What I think, no matter how that's working out, though, I think what concerns me is how it can keep me from moving forward, right? And then I think about if it's keeping me from moving forward, how many other people is it keeping from them moving forward? And I think that's the part when I get over myself and I'm like, I just like need to do this because this will like help other people. Hopefully, I'm hoping that other people will be inspired to like do something as spectacular or even better, right? Like, that's my concern. So I guess, and it's a different place, right? Like when I just graduated from college, I wasn't thinking like that. I was just thinking like, I don't want anybody to think that my head is too big. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just that. And then like, as you grow and you gain experience and you gain, whether it's in a job or in your business or whether it's through your relationship marketing company, whatever it is, once you get into that like next level, then it's like, wait, am I really supposed to be here? Like, is this really for me and not like that other person?
Well, wow. No. Because I'm thinking, this is obviously something that's very, this subject, like I said, for me is a big deal because it is one of the, if there's really any challenge I have in my business, it's this. It's one, the idea, am I really a marketer? Or I remember there's been points where I struggle with even what do I call myself when I meet people, right? I'm a network marketer. I remember there was a time where I felt confident enough to say that. And then it was like, no, don't. Like there's just been so many times I've sat and thought about this topic. And I know that it affects my relationships because I don't show up authentically at times with people, because I'm carrying this sense of, I'm not the leader. I'm not really the good salesperson. Even though, to her point, I can look back at my history, hundreds of thousands of dollars during real estate, top personal trainer at a company, for a period of time. Like I can look at my history and see that, but I got to tell you guys, in this industry, this business model, I have found some of the biggest breakthroughs in my life and some of the harshest challenges around who I am. And I think, I don't know if we've asked this question yet, but it may have been one of the ones Janelle and I thought about, this whole idea of identity. Who am I? Who am I? Because if I can, and for me, in my own personal life, I maybe not even, I'm going to judge myself now because I haven't been spending as much time doing it as I used to. But, I spent a lot of time in my faith trying to understand who I am outside of the things and the accolades to that point and the praise, because in this business, I have not reached what I want. I do not see myself as one of these top income earners. I have not, had the blessing of crossing stage yet for those things. And because I can't look to like my last businesses, in my other businesses, within a year and a half, I was making the most money at the real estate firm. Within a year and a half, almost a year and a half in personal training, I was the top trainer and making the most money, more than anyone else. In my network marketing business, I was not within a year and a half the top income earner on our team. Definitely not the person who put the most sales in my team. I could tell you that for a part. There was a point where I was jealous of the other men and women in our organization who put in more sales and were, I don't think they made more money, but they definitely put in more sales. And I remember hearing, you want that in this business. You want to be outworked. And something in me couldn't sit with that, because it was like, well, the leader is the leader out front. I'm like, but I'm not that person. So isn't this person the leader? But then next month, there's this other person who's now doing more sales. And it's like, you go back to a training and they're like, yeah, if you ain't putting in the most in your team, you ain't got no team. You're like, wait out. So who are these people behind me, right? Like, it becomes this idea of, again, I really get lost. And again, I still say this today, like, I still find myself not seeing someone duplicate something, so blaming it myself, because clearly if I was better, then they would be better.
So here,
You know
look,
what I
I
mean?
actually updated today's question for that reason. Ooh, not this one, this one. Is it affecting your business? I think
That's a much better question. Yes.
Because that's
I'm gonna do over. New clock. I'm teasing. No, I'm teasing. But no, that absolutely.
I was like,
Yes.
Some people probably have it, work through it, and move forward. And then there's some people where it's no. This is
where I am.
This is affecting my business, and I can't move forward from here. Right? And
you identified it. You've shared this with me, actually. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think that's where this is, right? Like, the reason why this becomes, there's some tension in the room, or you can kind of feel it's prickly, or if you will, is because it's the imposter syndrome is actually impacting your business. Where if you felt imposter syndrome in your school, at your job, or whatever, you feel it, but you kind of get by and maybe even have some success. But here it directly impacts your business. And to your point, you could have a bunch of people outworking you. And even though technically that is the point, at least with relationship marketing, that's the point, is to become insignificant to your business. There's this, if the imposter syndrome is yeah, but since I'm the leader, I should be the one doing all the work, and I'm not, then that's where the imposter syndrome comes in. And then you can end up self-sabotaging, and then not treating the people who are putting in the most sales in your organization. Yeah, not treating them the way that you should. So it's this is where the tension is. This is exactly where the tension is, when it's when it actually impacts your business. And I think many of us need to work on, how do we work through that? How do we move beyond that? That's the next thing.
So good. No, this is so good. And I was going to say, it's funny because the crux of this show came about because we'd have business conversations around things to improve our overall business, and then it turned into our life and so on. And I remember there'd be often, and it's so funny that we may not, this is probably true for many people, we clearly can't see ourselves, right, the way others see us. And I remember you often would affirm this really negative idea of, I'm not a business person. I've never really run it. And I remember thinking to myself, But and those same stats, because I keep those stats in my head as I judge myself, I can use it to give good reference to others. She makes more than blank, yet she can't see herself as successful because the goal she has really set for herself she's not yet attained that. But in my mind, I'm like, but she's one of the most business savvy people I have in the entire organization. And I used to hear you say it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I spoke to this person and they were really sharp about these things. And so that's why I didn't. And I'm just like, but you are running a successful business. In my mind, profits, and not, again, we can get really technical about profits and your expenses and all these other things, but you're in a business that's still running and the potential for the business is always there. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, it's successful. Closing down the door, shutting down. Obviously, if someone is here, someone may be sitting on here thinking, well, if your business operates at a deficit too long, then you're really, but guys, here's the beautiful thing about our business model. And if you guys, have an opportunity to go check out last week's episode or the week before last when we had Mark Chin on, he had a great point about having a frame of reference around business, which would probably help give you more clarity. You can operate at a loss in our business for a period of time. I'm not sitting here telling you 10 years and you're never making money. That's not a good indicator. But guys, because of the low price point our business had, if I had a McDonald's or I had one of these brick and mortar business, I know. Oh my God. I'm just getting into it too. Thank you, Janelle, for changing that question. It definitely shifted the dynamic of because that's what I was thinking. When we asked, I was like, yeah, I have it, but having it isn't really what I want to talk about. Yeah, I want to talk about it's affecting my business for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to, but overtime is gonna have
overtime. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. All right.
I love that.
So please, if you value the content, subscribe, ring that notification bell, smash that like button as we say. Look down below for the Patreon link so that way you can follow us on overtime. And just to be very clear, as of right now, our overtimes are recorded. So you're not going to find the overtime right this second, but I guarantee later today it will be up so you can catch the overtime conversation. And they're always really good, and they provide nuggets that we just don't have time for.
Yeah, we just don't. I'm about to go in. I'm telling you this right now. That I'm about to go in because this just opened. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and it's something that again, I know that if I can have healing in this area, it'll definitely boost our team, our business, and everybody.
Everybody else.
Yeah, everyone else. So, thank you guys for watching today. Thank you for everybody who joined us live.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Truly appreciate the fact that you guys take time out of your day to be a part of the conversation. Definitely ask questions whenever you guys are on live. We love to interact with you guys. You guys make up. You're the reason why we're here. We just want to serve you guys, and we hope we're doing that effectively.
Say that.
So, guys, as always,
remember you deserve the good life.
Have an amazing day, guys, and we'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned, Patreon. We're coming.